everyone, and a very good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Saturday morning. I know it was really hard for you to drag yourself out of bed, but we really appreciate you. And today's session is going to be a really special and intimate session because we NBS students are going to be sharing about our NBS journeys with all of you here. So without further ado, let me begin to introduce the four amazing panelist speakers with me. First up, I have Sean.
I'm Sean. I'm currently the president of NTU's Accountancy and Business Club. And just to tell you guys a bit more about myself, I really love sports. So if you guys do end up joining us here at NBS, you'll probably find me doing some sort of physical activity. Now back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Sean. Next up, we have Lisa. Lisa is a final year student who is specializing in marketing. Lisa.
So hi everyone, thanks for being here with us today. So I'm Lisa and I'm currently a Year 3 Marketing Business student. So a little bit something more about myself is that I have my side business doing calligraphy and customizations, and I also really like softball, and I used to play for the National Youth Team.
Wow, that's really cool. And next up, we also have Johnson. Johnson is a Year 2 student and he specializes in banking and finance.
Hi guys, I'm Johnson. I'm also the chairperson of Zenith 2021, which is a freshman orientation program here at NBS. So other than Zenith, we have FOP, Color Splash, Infirmary, and Rush as well. So if you are intending to join NBS, do remember to check out these orientation programs that are prepared for you. Hope to see you guys here.
Yes, Johnson is right. NBS has so many orientation programs for you to join, and it's a really vibrant culture, so feel free to join us for any of these camps. And last but not least, we've got Pazira. Now, Pazira is a Year 2 student as well, and she specializes in business analytics. Pazira, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Pazira. So as Jen has introduced, I'm currently a Year 2 student studying Accountancy and Business, specializing in business analytics. So one fun fact about me is that my Polytechnic diploma is in biomedical science. But I decided to switch course and study Accountancy and Business instead because I feel that I can be more value-adding in this field. So currently in NBS, I'm serving as the president of NTU Tax Advisory Club, and at the same time, I'm also in a martial arts CCA called NTU Silat.
Wow, that's amazing. Now that all the four panelist speakers has introduced themselves, let me introduce myself. I'm Genevieve and I'm the host for today, so hello to you. I'm also a final year student who's specializing in marketing. And apart from that, I'm also an entrepreneur as well as a freelance actress. Now, over the past few days, we've actually got you to send in questions to slido.com because this session, Meet the Students, is a session specifically for you. So we want you to ask us questions about our NBS journeys or any questions at all. You know, from what's our favorite food in NTU to more work academic life matters. So head down to slido.com and key in the code NBS Open House and send in all of your questions. We're so excited to just answer all of your questions. And over the past few days, I've seen that there are some questions that has been streaming in, which we'll be answering them really shortly. So hang in there. But I see that many of you are still tuning into the live stream. So if you've got friends who are unsure, which faculty should I join, which course should I join, drop them a text now and get them to join our virtual live stream. Alright, let's start off with some questions then. Okay, the first question that came in is, what's a day like? I'm sure all of you are curious to find out, what is it like to be an NBS student? So why not let's get Sean to kickstart things off.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks, Jen. Maybe I'll kick us off with answering from my own personal perspective. Usually through the weekdays, I start off my days with classes in the morning as well as later on in the afternoon with a pretty generous lunch break in between, which I'm always very thankful for. After that, I usually spend my time in the evenings working on my club commitments as well as any ongoing projects for the semester that I might have going on for my modules. I'm really thankful to NBS for allowing us to have this flexibility in arranging our timetables because it helps me ensure that I have enough time at the end of the week when my classes usually end on Thursdays to catch up with my work, as well as make time for my other passions and interests, and also ensure that there's enough time to unwind over the weekend with friends.
That's really lovely, Sean. It's so great to hear, so much flexibility in your timetable. What about you, Lisa?
Sure, so for me, actually at NBS, it's really flexible in planning our timetable. So for me, I've been doing an internship part-time part-time ever since last year. And before that, I was doing a 6 months internship at Schneider Electric. And then I went on to SAP in the 18-month Star Early Talent program. So I've done rotations in services, key account sales, and office of the president, and I'm currently finishing up my last rotation. And that means I'm also still doing my internship on top of studies. And my day looks like going to class in the morning and then going to work from home in the afternoon. So other than that, I still have my project meetings for school and also some co-curricular activities that you can take out at NBS.
Wow, I keep hearing from you guys the word flexibility in the schedules, and really, as an MBS student myself, I think that's something that MBS really provides. Okay, for myself, I'm more of a night owl, so I can't really wake up. Okay, so I'm no early bird that catches the worm. So I tend to pack my schedules for my afternoon classes, so I don't touch the morning part. And because of that, it also allows me to pursue my other commitments out of school, so I can fill my other days of the week up with other schedules. So with that, we'll go to the next question. Are seminar discussions very stressful? Now, I'm sure that's a question that's on your mind because you want to know what's the rigor of lessons like in NTU. So why not let's get fast to share?
Okay, so in NBS, most of our modules are conducted seminar style, which follows a flipped classroom format. So in JC or in Poly, I think we are all used to the traditional lecture and tutorial format of delivery, whereby for lectures, you don't really have to prepare much beforehand. You just go into your lecture and have the content delivered to you, and then you practice questions during tutorial. So for me, I find that learning that style of delivery a bit boring because it's only one way. And last time I tend to doze off in class. But on the other hand, in NBS, because it's a flipped classroom format, right? All of our content are provided before the class. So we actually study the materials beforehand. And what happens during class is really engaging discussions, where you will be, where our tutors will actually provide us with real-world business issues that are related to the content, and then we really discuss it. So I find it really, really engaging. It's really lively, and you do have to participate in class. For me, it's not so much of an issue because I am comfortable speaking up. But for those who are naturally more reserved, this is actually a great opportunity for you to develop your confidence.
Right. Well, if you aren't here in NBS yet, I need to tell you, welcome to the world of class participation. Now, class participation is something that's prevalent across all NBS classes, and really, it's to encourage you in the business world, right? When you go out there to work, you have to interact with your different bosses, your different clients. You need to be actively speaking up about your different opinions that you have. And here in NBS, when we have class participation, it kind of mimics that working world context. Okay, and they encourage us to actively engage in class, to actively speak up our insights with our profs. And really this way, I see that it helps to bolster our confidence, and it really helps us in the working world as well. Alright, the next question. How often and how far do you have to travel to school? Okay, I think this is a really good question, because NTU is also known as Pulau NTU, and we are known as Pulau NTU for nothing, right? Because we are much closer to JB than we are to Changi Airport. So I think I'll get someone who lives relatively far from NTU to share. What about you, Sean?
Well, thanks, Jen. I think you definitely have the right person for this question, because as Jen might have mentioned just now, I'm an ISTE. So as you can imagine, the journey to and from school and home for me is pretty long, but thankfully it's a straight journey. I get to enjoy a long train ride where I can spend time either watching videos or working on my projects. But thankfully for me, this semester I had the fortune of securing hall stay, and for those incoming freshmen, if you guys want to join us at NBS, you'll be happy to know that one of the benefits you receive is a guaranteed hall stay for your first 2 years here.
That's right.
And that really provides me with a lot of convenience and helps me get through the week by saving me a lot of time, as well as providing me with a home that's located practically right next to the school. And it's also something I'm really grateful for, because this semester, thanks to perhaps a bit of a stroke of luck, I managed to form a very close-knit group of friends in hall that I can always turn to and rely upon, and it makes it feel like hall is a home away from home for me. For me personally, I usually go back every Friday evening and come back to school on Sunday evenings. So as you can imagine, I still have plenty of time to spend with my family, which is also very important, especially through this phase of life when you're growing up. And I feel that you start to become more in tune with yourself as a person and you want to spend more time with your family. So naturally, it's a win.
Wow, I really like this balance that you have there, Sean. And like what he said, home away from home, that is truly an accurate representation of what hall is like. Being all alone yourself, living in a hostel, and getting to experience the vibrant hall culture. What about someone who lives relatively closer to school? Perhaps we can get Johnson to share.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, so unlike Sean, I'm a bit more lucky because I stay nearby the Chinese Garden area, which is
That's
relatively close to NTU as compared to Easties. So here's how my daily commute will look like. I'll have to first travel to Chinese Garden MRT, and then from there, I'll take a train all the way to Pioneer MRT, which is about 3 stops, I guess. Over at Pioneer MRT, there's actually a shuttle bus provided by NTU that will shuttle you all the way into NTU, which is super duper convenient. So other than Pioneer, actually NBS has a lot of shuttle buses going around, whether is it within the school compound itself or outside of school. So regardless of where you stay at, there's bound to be a shuttle bus, probably a few stations away from you. So on a daily basis, I'll take about a maximum of 45 minutes to travel to school, including the time traveling.
Wow, Johnson, you are one lucky person because for me, I completely relate with Sean. Now, I stay in Ang Mo Kio and it's super far. Okay, it takes me about 2 hours to get to school, but luckily for me, I stay in hall. But like what Johnson mentioned, we have plenty of shuttle services available for all of you guys. Now, so for me, when I come to hall, in the morning, we actually have shuttle services from Ang Mo Kio, Sengkang, Punggol, Tampines, Bukit Gombak. The list goes on and on. So NTU really have got you guys who live far away covered. So don't worry about that. I think one thing about staying really far away is that you can opt for hall, and there's plenty of halls. In fact, there's about 23 halls in NTU. So there's plenty of it for it to go around. And like what Sean mentioned as well, we are guaranteed 2 years of stay, which means year 1 and year 2, you'll definitely have a hall. And apart from that, if you stay near, then great for you because you get the save cost as well. Alright, let's go to the next question. The next question is, are you worried about employment? Now, I think that's a really apt question, isn't it? Because now we're all stuck in a COVID-19 situation and definitely the job economy looks uncertain for many of us. So perhaps let me get a final year student who's about to graduate to share her thoughts about this. Lisa.
Sure. So I think to a certain extent, we are definitely worried about employment, but it is about something, a job, not just a job, but something that you really like to do and aligns with your values. It's something that maybe cause a little bit more worry. So I really recommend taking up more internships to find out what you like along the way. And at NBS, you can really plan your time according to what you want to do. So for me, I really want to go into the tech consulting space. And over the years, I have done my rotations in the various parts of SAP. So that has given me more certainty in what I want to do. So other than that, I also really encourage all my juniors to take part in leadership roles in NBS and mentorship programs. So we even have the NBS Alumni Mentorship Program, and I'm part of that. So I'm attached to the Director of Marketing at Deloitte. So it's really great because you get to see how she navigates her life, and it helps you with your own decisions as well. And even taking part in competitions like the one I recently did was a global one, and you get to work with all people from all different cultures. So this is really great, especially if you want to work in an MNC. And maybe even perhaps lastly, taking up a third language, which is something that I'm doing now. I'm taking up Malay to perhaps get to know my colleagues in the Southeast Asia region even better, and even in Singapore as well.
Wow, it's no wonder that we call Lisa the busy bee. She is indeed a perfect example of what a busy schedule in NBS looks like. Well, like what Lisa mentioned, she mentioned several good points. There are plenty of clubs that you can join in NTU, and also plenty of mentorship programs that you can just elevate yourself. And when we come to university, we kind of don't know what exactly we want. And these mentorship programs, it really helps to steer us towards a clearer guidance on, how can I track my career progression, how can I improve in my personal branding, and personally for myself, I also attended recently the Level Up Mentorship Program. So I was actually attached to an industry leader in the marketplace, and over 3 months he actually guided me on a weekly basis on how I can improve my personal branding. And these are things that I find it so helpful, and I'm so thankful to NBS for having these opportunities, because these opportunities really helps me to grow in my confidence. It helps me to also grow in my skill sets, and really, prepare myself to be ready for the working world. Let's also get Faz to share next.
Okay, so same like Lisa, I am worried about employment, but this, which is why I'm actually maximizing my time in uni to develop myself personally and professionally. So, and also making professional connections in order to boost my employability. So, for example, there are a few examples. One of it is that I'm currently serving as the president of NTU Tax Advisory Club, and this leadership opportunity has allowed me to hone my leadership skills, my management skills, and also communication skills, because I get to liaise with external organizations like a Big Four professional services firm. And I feel that these soft skills are really important, especially when you enter the workforce. Recently, I also just completed an internship with Deloitte under the audit department, and they have also offered a fast track program which I will be taking up. So, which is something like an extended internship program with them. And if I perform well upon graduation, I will be able to secure an employment with them. So one fun fact about how I even managed to get this internship in the first place is because a group of friends and I, we actually signed up for a business case competition, and we emerged as champions. So the internship was actually like a prize. So like, that's the thing, in NBS there's really lots of opportunities around, and it all starts from your email inbox. So NBS, like UPO, they constantly send you internship opportunities, work-study degree program, post-study program opportunities, case competitions and stuff like that. So for you as a student, you just need to be aware of all these opportunities and be brave enough to seize them whenever you see them.
I've got to agree fast on this one, because my email is constantly flooded with so many different emails from the career office. They're giving you so many different vast opportunities to explore, areas of your interest, from pharmaceutical to fashion to beauty to technological firms. Whatever you have, they've got it. So really, I would encourage you guys, when you come into university, perhaps you might not be really sure of what you want to do yet. So take this time to really build up. What are some things that interest you? What are some things that you see yourself landing a job in the future? And don't be afraid to give these internships a shot in your time here at NBS. And like Faz is a year 2 student, so it's really interesting to hear what the younger undergraduates have to say. So I'll get another year 2 undergraduate to share with you his opinions as well. So over to you, Johnson.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, so I'm definitely concerned about the job market, especially what happened last year, which was COVID-19. So instead of graduating within 3 years, which is one of the strengths at NBS, I'm going to take 1 to 2 LAs, which also stands for leave of absence, to go for internships where I will be able to learn valuable skill sets, both technical and soft skills, and actually learn what is it like to be out working in the field.
Right.
So again, this is one of the advantages of having a 3-year degree, is that students like yourself and myself can choose to go for internships or exchange to gain and learn more from these experiences, and without the fear of losing out to your peers in fellow universities.
Right. I think Johnson actually mentioned a really good point, which is leave of absence. And if you guys don't know what that is, it means that basically you can actually take a semester off school to pursue an internship of your choice. And this isn't compulsory in the NBS modules per se, but it's something that, if you feel that I want to do this and I don't mind spending a little bit more time to just pursue something that is of interest to me or something that you want to explore, go and do it. For me personally, I actually just came back from a leave of absence. I did about a 7 to 8 months internship stint at Changi Airport, and it was there that I felt like I truly flourished. They gave me many different opportunities, from the opening of Jurassic Mall to hosting the Christmas event, and I felt like I really grew in my skill sets there, and I was really able to apply the skills that I have learned in marketing over at my internship. Yeah, so I would really encourage you guys to see the value that internships can bring in your university life. These are things that you might not be thinking of now, but it's good to start thinking about that. With that, let's go to the next question. What do you do outside of school hours, and is there time for anything else? Perhaps the busy bee, Lisa, can share about that then.
Sure, there's definitely time to rest because however you plan your schedule is entirely up to you and you are in the driver's seat of your own time every day, every week. So for me, I really like to maximize my time because 3 years at NBS is a great time for you to really expose yourself to many different things. And at NBS, there are so many enrichment programs that you can join. So even in NTU, there are so many clubs for you to join. So some of my time goes to my leadership roles in NTU Model United Nations, which is an international conference around diplomacy and politics. So I help with the delegation and liaison affairs, and the event is coming up soon, so my responsibilities are piling up. Another thing that I'm involved in is NTU Peak, which is a leadership program co-developed with the industries where they select 40 people to solve business problems of the companies that take part with us. So I think these really help you work in a team better and really enhance your time in school as well, and it helps with your work. But definitely don't worry, there is time to rest and I make sure I get my well-being and unwind and watch my shows at night.
That sounds great, Lisa. Like what Lisa said, self-care is important. While you're packing up your schedules, we are young, right? So we feel like we can hustle. But don't forget to self-care as well. Do things that is of interest to you, but also remember to unwind. Let's get Sean to share next.
Okay, hi guys. So maybe I'll take this question from a more recreational perspective
Wow.
and give you guys a better idea of the rumored university life experience that you hear so much about. So first of all, let me start off by saying I really love this question because I think that this university life is something that you really look back fondly upon and reminisce with your friends when you get older. So let me start off by saying that personally, as much as I have to juggle the commitments to both my double degree and to the school, I make it a point to find free pockets of time to spend on my passions as well as with my friends. I'm a huge subscriber of the late night hall life activities, and I also spend a lot of time in the gym and playing sports during the day with my hall friends. So I like to address this misconception because many students might have the idea that doing a double degree is very time consuming and may not be for me. But personally, let me tell you, as president of a student club, a double degree holder, and just to give it a bit more context and make you less worried about the future, I'm also a holder of the Nanyang scholarship. So having to juggle all these three things, I still find that you have more than enough time to yourself, just as long as you remain committed to being on top of your schedule at work.
Wow, Sean, thank you so much for sharing. I think Sean is a really great inspiration of how you can really have that work-life balance. And the vibrant hall culture that he talks about, is something that he feels a lot for. And he's really lucky to have that group of friends in hall which he can just chill with after a long day of lessons. Why not let's get... Okay, I think I'll share actually. So for me, myself, I strongly believe in a life beyond grades. And so I have a lot of passions out of school, and in my free time I'm actually an entrepreneur, so that keeps me really busy in my weekly in my day-to-day basis because I have to do delivery, I have to do logistics, inventory checking, I do designing, and just liaising with different customers as well as marketing purposes, right? And apart from that, I'm also an associate trainer at Halogen Foundation, so I actually empower and level students in empowerment as well as marketing concepts and entrepreneurship skills. So I hope to allow them to grow in their confidence through sharing my expertise with them. And aside from that, I'm also a freelance actress. So these are things that I find, it's really fulfilling for me to spend this time out of school, to be able to actively chase my passions. And this is something that I encourage you guys to do as well. Because for me, I have a lot of friends in NBS who are property agents, they are insurance agents, and they balance their schedule so well that they can be out there doing all of these things, yet still be responsible group mates and responsible students and do all the work that they have to finish. So I think really that liberty of being able to arrange your schedules is something that I find myself that I'm so fortunate because it really then gives us the time to be able to pursue our passions out of school. Alright, let's see what question we should ask next. Okay, the next question is, I want to try NBS, but my grades are not really up there. Any advice? Well, in NBS actually, we have this program called, we have this special admission which is called the discretionary admission. And so, I know that one of our fellow panelist speakers here actually got into discretionary admission, so let's get Lisa to share her thoughts.
Yes, so I think entrepreneurship is really important, and it's something that is also common amongst our students. So for me, my calligraphy business started 3 years ago, so that really helped with really my kind of mindset, the growth mindset, and because you're managing a business end to end, so that's the kind of proactiveness you gotta have. And I think that it is this growth mindset that really helped me with my schoolwork, my projects, and even excelling well in the internships, because even in the MNC space, it is great to have proactiveness and being able to work with people. It's a very important trait to have. So if you're applying to NBS, don't be afraid to showcase these entrepreneurial spirits that you have. And I think that NBS is coming up with something special for entrepreneurship. So don't be afraid if you have not started yet, because we have something just for you.
Right, like what Lisa has mentioned, entrepreneurship is one way that she actually got into NBS. And so personally for me, I actually got in through discretionary admission as well. So I know how you feel if your grades are not really up there, but don't be afraid, okay? If you've got any other side passions, for example, if you are passionate about acting, you're passionate about politics, and you've got a portfolio in these areas, don't be afraid about that and just showcase that. Okay, in a discretionary admission, you can actually submit 3 different of your top achievements in your life so far. So choose your top 3 achievements and then pen it down. Okay, I think it's about 100-word limit or so, and really sell yourself there. Okay, I encourage you to just throw away your face and be like, I am so good in this, I am so good in this, I am so good in this. Okay, attract the people who are viewing your resumes. Okay, and this is something that might actually potentially get you in as well, like how I did. So for me, I actually got into acting as well as community work because I had a lot of experience in that as well. So I am really grateful for that opportunity. And I think Lisa mentioned just now that entrepreneurship. There's something exciting that's happening for entrepreneurship, and that is really true because NTU is actually introducing a new specialization. Okay, it's a new second major in entrepreneurship, and that's crazy exciting because I remember when the news came out a few months ago, I was scrolling through my mail and then I was like, I am so sad. I'm so sad because I was like, why wasn't I born 2 years later? I really want to be in this specialization because for me, I just kickstarted my own business last year. So I designed and I produced acrylic frames. And I felt that my entire NBS journey has actually been gearing me up for this because I specialize in marketing, right? And the different things that's been taught in marketing, like digital marketing, how you can create content. These are things that really helps me in the day-to-day running of my business. And so I am so excited to share with you guys about this program. Lucky for all of you aspiring entrepreneurs, or perhaps if you've got a passion in creating something of your own, this one is for you. If you've got any other friends who have their own side businesses or are interested in kickstarting one and they don't know about this program yet in NBS, go and tell them now, okay? Drop them a text now. With that, we've got a really special guest today. She's here to share with you her journey in entrepreneurship. So she actually graduated in 2012. So she's still really young, okay? Don't worry. She's young like all of us here. And we've invited her specially today to share with you her expertise on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. She actually did a minor in entrepreneurship back in NTU. And she's currently the CEO of Confetti. If you don't know what Confetti is, you have to go and check it out. Now, it's this amazing company that sells healthy food with low waste, and it actually empowers, the hungry farmers as well. And that's so amazing, right? Well, I won't share her story with you, and I'll get Betty to share it with you herself. Let's invite Betty.
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me. It's been 9 years since I've been back, so things have really moved, and I'm so happy to see the progress here. So thanks for having me today. So I would love to share my story. I embarked on a round-the-world tour for 3.5 years in 2015, and it has really been an amazing journey. My mom retired from a long career in philanthropy, and then she wanted to really see the world and explore the world with her only child before she gets too old. So I actually embarked on that. We've been to 43 countries and we've sold so
Wow.
much incredible, sustainable food systems, visited farmers markets, and for myself, I really am a huge foodie. I love cooking and experimenting in my own kitchen. So I also love nature a lot and being outdoors and the beautiful outdoor life. So it was in one of my trips when I was hiking up in the mountains of British Columbia, Canada, where I found that fruits and vegetables are so heavy when I hiked up the mountains. Yeah. So what I did was, and I was also really missing the Singapore flavors. And I went to the market and I started buying fruits and vegetables, slicing them up from my own kitchen and infusing them with exotic and authentic recipes inspired by Singapore.
I want to try them.
Yes.
Can I try them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So these snacks, I started sharing it with my neighbors and my friends in Canada, and everybody loved it. And they asked me the magic question, which is, can I buy this from a store? And that really triggered me to cut short my trip, return to Singapore, and start this company called Confetti. As you know, 90% of the snack aisle is still dominated by an ocean of yellow. Everything is either extruded corn puffs or they are dehydrated or they are deep fried potato chips, which gives me a sore throat. So I really wanted to change that and bring more colors to supermarket aisles. So since then, we have actually collaborated with food rescue groups, the Upcycled Food Association. As you know, we have very major challenges in this world. 40% of edible produce are crop surpluses or cosmetic imperfect food that are edible but thrown away every year. That represents 2.9 trillion pounds of fruit that is edible but thrown away, where 8.6 million people die from hunger every year. So with Confetti as a concept, we aim to solve both problems by upcycling food waste and turn them to nutrient-dense, award-winning tasty snacks. At the same time, a portion goes to feeding the hungriest people in the world. So we work closely with United Nations World Food Programme, and we really want to empower, extreme poverty by sourcing from very vulnerable farmers, at the same time creating amazing snacks that delight the world and bring more nutrients and more vegetables into people's lives. So as a homegrown brand, we have really grown a lot. Now we are in the major supermarkets like Fair Price Extra, popular bookstores, all Shell stations, island-wide, as well as popular bookstores, as well as the specialty stores like Ryan Grocer's, Taste Gourmet Markets, as well as Food Panda. Yeah. So I would say that NBS has really been really instrumental in my growth and journey so far in terms of hard skills as well as soft skills. So hard skills, they really taught me how to look at a balance sheet, manage my inventory, channel management, and marketing. At the same time, it nurtures my soft skill in the terms of leadership skills, collaboration, discussions, as well as negotiations, which are really instrumental in embarking in an entrepreneurship journey. Yeah.
Wow. Betty, that was really inspiring. I mean, okay, personally for me, I don't eat vegetables, but after hearing all that Betty has shared, I think I'm a bit compelled to go and buy a Confetti. So I think, Betty, you mentioned that it's sold in the supermarkets.
Yes, yeah, it's available in Fair Price Extra as well as popular bookstores if you're going to buy stationery.
Okay, I will head to Fair Price Extra later and I'll get myself a bag of confetti. What's the best flavor there?
Okay, so we really celebrate cultures and diversity and want to celebrate that with the world. So it's a tribute to the planet, which I really love. So we have tandoori curry inspired by the Indian community.
Wow.
Yeah, we have teriyaki inspired by the Japanese.
Oh my gosh. I am salivating.
Yes.
Okay.
Summer truffle inspired by the Angmos. And then we have green curry inspired by the Thais.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your personal favorite? I'm gonna grab it later.
Yeah, they're the mushrooms.
The mushrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to grab. Oh, thank you, Betty, so much for sharing your story. We're so inspired by different entrepreneurs that has been rising up from NBS students, and really with this new specialization in entrepreneurship, it's the perfect opportunity for you guys to grab at it. Okay, I have many friends amongst my social group of circle who are doing different different entrepreneurship stuff as well. You know, there are people who are selling fridge for hall. In hall you need fridge, right? There are also people who run like supper delivery services, they cook bee-hoon, and it's just amazing, you know, the many different things that you can do, and you're not limited to it at all. Okay, I think that there are many more questions that's coming in. I want you guys to keep on sending those questions because we are dying to answer your burning questions as well, okay? So keep sending them in, and thank you so much for staying with us throughout this live stream. So we'll be going on to some other questions now. The next question is, my polytechnic course has an average of 5 modules per sem and it was very manageable. How many modules are there per sem for NBS students, and how do you find the workload per sem? Okay, I think this is, I was from JC personally, so perhaps I'll get someone on the panelist who is from a polytechnic to share her experience with you guys. I'll get Faz.
Alright, thanks Jen. Okay, so first of all, I need to clarify that although I was from Polytechnic, my previous course was in biomedical science, not business.
Okay.
Yeah, but in terms of the workload, the system is technically still the same. You go by modules instead by subjects which you study like in JC. So the system comparing uni and poly is really the same. And I think the difference is in uni, normally they will prescribe your timetable to you. So you don't really have much say in how much workload you want to balance on that for that particular semester. But in NBS, in uni, you actually have the freedom to set how many modules you want to take in each semester. So it really depends on you also. But currently as a double degree program student, I'm managing about 20 to 21 AUs, which is about 5 modules now also. And I think that it's actually comparable to my peers in the other courses in NTU as well. So the workload for me, I think poly is slightly more manageable for most of us also. In uni, I cannot lie, I have to say it's a bit more tough, but it's bearable. Yeah, so it's about how you manage your time also. And let's say if for this particular semester you want to work part-time or something, or take a part-time internship, you have the flexibility to reduce your AU amount and just catch up in the next few semesters. Yeah, back to you, Jen.
Thank you so much, Faz, for sharing. I hope that gave you a clearer picture of how it looks like. The next question which we'll be going to is, some modules are exemptable during year 1. Should I exempt or not? Maybe I'll get Sean to share about his inputs then.
Yeah, okay, thanks Jen. Maybe I'll just say a few words about this. Personally, I exempted econs because for my JC A levels, I managed to secure an A grade.
Wow,
So
Mr. Nanyang scholarship right here, guys.
I'll give you like 2 sides of the argument. There are people who believe that not exempting the courses, like choosing not to exempt the courses, they believe that they can do well and they're able to secure a good grade that will hopefully put their GPA in a good position for the future years. But personally, I chose to make the decision to exempt economics because firstly, it was available to me, and secondly, I didn't want to risk not performing well for that module. I also believe that exempting the module gives you the flexibility and also more free time to take on other modules as well as focus on your current course. So some of you might be wondering, if we exempt certain modules, will we still be eligible for certain business specialization tracks? And I can assure you, having streamed into banking and finance, even though I exempted economics, and also from the knowledge that some of my friends had exempted financial management coming from polytechnics, they were still able to stream into their first choice banking and finance track. So personally, my recommendation to you is that you should exempt, but it's ultimately up to you if you believe that you can secure a good GPA out of choosing not to exempt this module.
Right, thank you, Sean. Well, you heard it from Mr. Nanyang Scholarship himself, and I hope that gave you great advice on what you should do as well. The next question we'll be going to is, does business and accounting have a lot of group projects? Well, personally, let me share for myself, okay? So I'm from marketing, and that's under the business specialization, right? We do have a lot of group projects because it's very much group project focused, right? As compared to other specializations, we do not really have finals, and so a lot of our projects is group based, and so we have to present. We have to do presentation slides up, and that's how it looks like for a marketing student. So maybe I can get a business and accounting student to share with you herself. So I know she does business analytics. So maybe you can, maybe Faz can share more about your life.
Okay, so alright, the question was about group works, right, for business and accountancy. Okay, so the beauty is for me, I actually enjoy group work compared to like I personally enjoy group work, group projects a lot. So yes, there are plenty of group work in both business and accountancy. So for business, like Jen has mentioned earlier, like our projects, like marketing projects and all that. And for accountancy, also the modules, you have to work in teams to solve like the seminar questions. And then after that you present. So in a way, there's a lot of opportunities for you to develop your presentation skills and your confidence and all that. And also, it really is important to build teamwork, like teamwork and managing teams, project management. These are really, really essential skills that you need when you enter the workforce. So it's good that like there's a lot of opportunities in business and accountancy for group projects, and I find it really meaningful. And the beauty of it in business analytics, for me, as I mentioned earlier, right, I'm not really the kind who excels in exams, but I really do much better in terms of project work and like really real world applications and all that. So the beauty of like business analytics, I don't really have much exams. Even for this semester, I only had one final paper, which is my tax module. The rest of it actually in-course assessment. So I really love it a lot. Yeah.
That's great. Let's move on to another question. Let's talk more about the culture of what is it like at NBS. I mean, in NBS, there are so many different things that you can do. And personally, for myself, I find that NBS people are very, very driven. You know, us being a 3 years program, we are super fast track, right? So I think a lot of my friends who come into NBS, they kind of know what is it that I want to do in future. And really, this fast track program is really very helpful because it really allows us to do internships in our journey here. And then after 3 years, you're gone, you're out to the real world. And so having this driven community alongside with me, it really motivates me to work harder. It pushes me, you know, to see what is my dream and then to chase after it. Maybe we'll get Sean to share more.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Jen. So I think I'm in a pretty good position to answer this question, being the president of the Accountancy and Business Club. Culture is a really big thing in universities, and I feel that amongst the big three in Singapore, you can really see subtle differences. I would say that the culture here in NBS, as you can expect, it being a business school, there is the competitive element, there is the element of needing to prove yourself, stand out from your peers, as well as get ahead in the rat race that we all work towards our degree for. But in NBS, I believe that the difference and also the main, our unique selling point in some sense, is that not only have we been trying to push out some community outreach initiatives to give back to the perhaps perhaps I'll call them the less fortunate or the disadvantaged in Singapore, and also because we are trying to build this economy of sharing as opposed to encouraging the competitiveness among students. So we have things like mentorships internally, whereby we get students to share their internship application experiences, especially those who have been successful applying to, like say, banks, MNCs, for example, JP Morgan, Unilever. We're trying to inculcate this culture of sharing so that we can benefit and also learn from one another, and also so that there's this feedback loop from the alumni to the juniors that we can leverage on in order to get the most out of our university experience as well as our studies, and also hopefully boost our chances at securing an internship. So on a more personal level, I would say that from my own experiences, having studied 4 sems in NTU, I've been lucky enough to have very cooperative group mates. There's rarely any tension or conflict. Although I do believe, like with any group setting, there will be conflict from time to time when you have strong personalities. But people in NTU generally like to cooperate, and also they tend to try the best, put the interest of the group ahead of their own. So I really believe that this is something that we are trying to work on, as hard as it is. And I think that if it's something that you might be interested in contributing to, please come join us at NBS.
Right. Thanks, Sean, for sharing. And I think there's also another very vibrant culture with our professors as well. My professors, they actually offer a lot of help beyond the classroom setting. You know, if you would like to book a consultation with them, perhaps you feel that you don't really you can't really adapt to the style of seminar styles, and it might be too fast-paced for you in a classroom setting, and you want some external time with your prof to clarify your doubts. feel free. Okay, our professors here, they are so more than willing to guide you on your any clarifications that you might have. Another question that came up, which was pretty interesting, is the minor modules counted in GPA? Perhaps I can get Lisa to share more about what minors are and share her experiences. So if these minor modules actually counts to her GPA.
Right, so maybe I can share because I've considered taking a minor before, even though I didn't take that route in the end, but I can share both sides of the story. So I considered taking a minor in entrepreneurship. So when you want to take a minor, right, the GPA has to be counted in the overall GPA. So minors, there are so many minors in NTU, like communication studies, and even all the other majors that are available outside of NBS are most likely available for a minor. So if you want to take a minor, the extra modules that you're taking under that minor have to be counted for the GPA. However, the other alternative you have is not to do a minor, but then it frees up your electives to do other interesting courses. So I think we have another question about interesting courses. And I know some electives in NTU allows you to do things like astronomy, linguistics. So I think these are the interesting ones that I know of. Personally, I use my elective to take up a third language, and we also have third language Korean, Japanese, and German, and all the really common languages around the world right now. So essentially, you have to count the GPA in your minor if you want to file for that minor in the end. So a little bit more about minor also is that you can take it at your own pace over your university life over the years, and then file for it at the end when you meet the requirements.
Right.
Except for entrepreneurship, where they actually take up a summer to finish all the modules within 2 months, I believe, and then you have a final project at the end. So for me, I didn't take that route, not because it's not good, but because I had a full-time internship during the summer, so I was not able to do so. And in the end, I just used my electives to take online courses and an additional language.
Right, thank you, Lisa, for leading us into the next question. That was actually what I was going to touch on as well, about what are the interesting courses in NTU. And I'm going to share, really personally, right? We have amazing unrestricted electives. So in NTU, we call these UEs, and these unrestricted electives means that you can choose anything you want out of in the NTU faculties, okay? You can choose from design, you can choose fashion, film, you can choose anything at all, okay? And my most favorite one was actually one that was under NIE, so it was under sports science, I believe. And this was a course which was about fitness. Okay, so every lesson we just did NAPFA. And it was so amazing. I think really what I'm trying to say here is that there are so many different opportunities that you can really further and expand your skill sets, not just limited to business skills, okay? If you're someone who's interested in astronomy, for example, there is that course. If you're interested in pottery, there is that course. And this plethora of options really gives you that free will to really choose something that is of your choice. All right, let's go to the next question. Can I choose a particular hall or roommate? Well, I've stayed in hall for all 3 years. And personally for me, basically when before you come in, okay, after you're actually matriculated to the school, you can actually choose several options, which is, do you want single or double room? Do you want aircon or non-aircon? And do you want toilet or non-toilet? Okay, so let me tell you, in year 1, I was like, I want everything. Okay, I want toilet, I want single room, I want aircon. And then there you have it. I had everything. And it was also quite expensive. But I would say that you can choose, okay? You can choose what are the options that you want. For roommate-wise, yes, you can choose that as well. But perhaps I'll get the hall king himself, okay? The one who is, every time he's like, oh yes, I love the hall culture. Sean to share more.
Okay, thanks, Jen. So first of all, I'd like to clarify that I'm not the hall king. That's actually a position for our hall pageant. So yeah, that's that. Unfortunately, just to give you
But
guys.
Sean was in NBS pageant.
Okay, yes, I was in that. I'm not gonna deny that, but yes.
He was called Mr. Dapper.
Okay, going back to the question on whether you can indicate your preference, choose your hall. because of the current COVID-19 situation, I will just go ahead and say that a lot of halls have limited the vacancies for students based on my understanding from the hall councils and the activities and as well as the information they have relayed to me. So because of that, it might be a bit more difficult for you to get the preferred hall of your choice. I would recommend that if you want to secure a hall stay in like a certain hall, in NTU we have halls 1 through 16 and then a couple of named halls as well. It's best if you were able to ask a friend or a senior who is able to get you into the recommendation list for that hall. That probably will maximize your chances for getting into that hall.
So what if they don't have a friend or senior?
Make one. Unfortunately, that's
You can
the
make friends
reality
with
of the
Sean,
situation.
okay? You can make
You
friends with
can
Sean
come
here.
to me if you want to come to hall 16. I won't guarantee anything because I'm not currently inside of the council. But if you are interested in joining us, do reach out to someone, do reach out to a senior which you know stays in that hall and ask them if it's possible to get you on that list. Because I understand having a preference for staying in a certain hall, because I personally chose 16 because it was near the academic areas and I didn't want to have that inconvenience of having to take long journeys to class, especially with my classes being in the morning. So if that's something that you're interested in, the reality is that you will have to approach someone or at most maximize your chances by perhaps, because from what I understand, usually if you're on scholarship, especially for the named scholars, there's certain halls that they will allocate you to as well. But if there's a certain hall that you really want to go to, find out how exactly the juniors are being recommended into that hall, or find out how they have been allocated to really maximize your chances, because I understand this is a really important issue and I know that you guys want to stay in hall with your friends so they can experience that hall culture that I've been talking so much about.
Yeah, I think Sean is right. There are many different halls that you can choose from. You can choose the different options that you want to get for the hall, but you might not specifically be able to choose which exact hall you want unless you are on the recommendation list. Okay, so with that, we come to another question. Okay, I see that we are running out of questions. So you guys, if you want to find out more about NBS, send in your questions now, okay? We are here to answer your questions. Okay, the next question is, who influences your decision to study business? Now, this is a really interesting question, and I know Faz, she was actually from Polytechnic and a different course. So maybe we can ask her to share, what actually motivated you to do that switch of courses.
Alright, thanks Jens. Okay, so for myself, right, I think many people were shocked when they learned that, in Poly I was actually studying biomedical science, and then how come am I here today? So for me, when I studied science all my life, after O-levels, I confirmed I wanted to study science. Because the main reason was because I wanted to make an impact, I wanted to make a difference. But I think when I studied science, right, I found that even though the topics are really, really interesting to me, the job scope was kind of routine because and I didn't really enjoy that routine life. I prefer something that is more like different challenges each day.
Right.
So after poly, I actually took a gap year because I was just undecided what I wanted to do. So I took a gap year and I started working at a private clinic because I thought I was gonna venture into healthcare. But the thing about being in a private clinic is that it's actually a business, it's an organization. So when I was working there, I was really exposed to the various internal things that happen in a business, in an organization. And that actually, in every organization, there are sure to be problems around. There's no perfect organization. So as managers, you must really do your best, understand the environment around you, and also to implement these changes so that in the end, you benefit the people that you intend to serve. And for myself, it would be the patients in the end. So I feel okay, if I cannot do, besides healthcare, right, what else can I do to help people? So actually, I realized that helping businesses, right, is also, in the end, you are still helping people. Because when you improve a business, the services that you provide to people, right, and to the community, it will be better. So that is actually the main reason why I studied business, and because I want to make a difference. And why I chose to take up a double degree program is because I think that it will give me a much bigger picture about what is going on in the business world. And being someone who really didn't have any business exposure prior to entering uni or prior to my job at the clinic, having that double degree really opens up every single perspective. Okay, not every single, but more perspectives. Yeah, more perspectives that I can. So I learn a lot more compared to just taking one degree, because I don't only learn like the operation side of it, for example, the management side, but I also learn the financial side of it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really really eye-opening, and like now I'm like proud to say that I can view issues from multiple perspectives. Like let's say if you're talking about health issues, I can see it from the science perspective, but also I can understand why certain decisions are made. I can see it from the business perspective.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Faz, thank you so much for sharing. And I think also that business is a very general degree. So generally for my friends who didn't really know what they wanted to do after they graduated from JC, they were like, I'm not really interested in anything, but I don't also really know what I want to do. And if that's you, don't worry, okay? It's perfectly normal. You might not be at a stage where you really know what you want to do for a future. So we encourage you, here at business school, business is a really general degree where you can actually venture into many different specializations and tracks. So you can find out for yourself when you come here, which one, which specialization which you would like to go to. With that, I think we are down to our final two questions. Okay, we might not have more time for that. So let's share about how do we connect with NBS seniors to get academic or specialization or CCA advice. Okay, let me just first say, let me shamelessly promote, follow NBS_undergrads on Instagram. Okay, this is a place where you can connect with us, okay, the panelist speakers here as well, and we will share with you, okay, what it is to be in the NBS. So if you've got any other further questions, you can also ask them, okay? Maybe I'll get Johnson to share as well.
Okay, thanks Jen. So basically, I'll share a bit of my own personal experience. When I first came into NBS as a freshman, like you guys potentially, I also didn't know much. So I didn't know where to find the relevant information that I needed. So which is why I joined an orientation program called Zenith. As well, like I've previously shared, there are a few orientation programs that y'all can look to participate in, and I believe y'all will be able to learn a lot from the seniors there. So personally, I was very lucky to be able to meet some helpful seniors who answered our queries.
No, yes, I didn't meet him before that. But I will be a helpful senior.
Seniors of her batch, yeah. Okay, so they will be very kind. Like seniors are actually very kind in NBS here. They will tell you, what is their specialization like, what to expect, and how you can better prepare for their specializations. Or if you have any general questions about NTU, or it can be as simple as, sorry senior, how do I get to this block for my tutorial? They'll be glad.
That was me, I remember.
Yeah.
Until now, I'm still saying, sorry senior, even though I'm the senior, sorry senior, how do I get to this place? Don't worry, we are friendly.
So, regardless of what kind of questions you have with regards to university, your seniors will be there to, they'll very kindly tell you lah. So the most important thing right here is when you are entering into university, do try to at least go for their faculty orientation program. Because that's where you're able to know, get to know the school better and exactly what to expect and stuff like that. So yep.
Yeah, I think Johnson mentioned a really good point, right? Join our faculty orientation camps, okay? I'm not sure if it's going to be a physical or a virtual one, but regardless, you're going to meet many different individuals from NBS as well. And these individuals are the ones who's also going to be the ones journeying with you throughout your NBS journey. And your seniors in those faculty groups, okay? They will be the ones who will be giving you all the notes. So join them, okay? And the very last question is CGPA so important in getting a job? Now, CGPA is cumulative GPA. Okay, so it's the grades that basically summarizes your entire NBS journey here. And perhaps I'll share first. I think personally, it can be important, but it can also not be important. And let me tell you why, okay? It depends on the specialization you're in. Because if you are in a specialization like banking and finance, you want to eventually work in banks, you want to work in big 4 companies, it is important because it is a competitive industry out there. Your employers do look at your grades. But I would say that from marketing perspective, for example, it is not as crucial. I wouldn't say that it's extremely crucial, but for me, I don't actually put my GPA on the resume because I feel that for marketing, they kind of look at your skill sets, they look at you as a person. So I would say it differs from course to course really, and there is no prescribed rule. It depends on what job you are looking at. So if you're looking at a job, maybe you can ask different seniors in NBS as well who has interned in those places and ask them, do I need a GPA? Do I need a good GPA? But that doesn't mean you don't work hard and be a responsible student. But yeah, I mean, like me and Lisa, we believe strongly in in our passions and having a life outside of school as well. So perhaps Lisa can also share her expertise.
Yes, so going back to the question, right, nowadays it's going to be more and more holistic. So it's not just CGPA. And
Yeah.
I think whether it's CGPA so important really depends on the kind of job you're looking for and the kind of function that you're going to do and the kind of industry. So I believe for my accountancy friends, they don't necessarily have to get a top grade, but they have to just pass the certification in order to, get certified as an accountant. And, if you're going into a government job or government industry, I believe to a certain extent, you need to have a reasonably well grade, like not below average or something. But for my own experience, none of my companies in the tech space asked for my GPA. So I never had to put my GPA on my resume, even though sometimes if you have a good GPA, definitely just put it on your resume, right? But I think it's definitely more than that nowadays. And getting a job is more than your GPA, because I think ultimately after the first screening, you have to get to the interviews, the case study rounds, and so definitely keep your options even wider and do more holistic things in your time at NBS.
Right, thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing. I believe that all the panelist speakers today, they have shared such amazing insights with all of us, and I hope that you guys took something away today. Now we've come to almost an end of the session, but I know that some of you guys, you still have questions and you don't dare to ask. I don't know why you don't dare to ask, but it's okay, because we want to be able to answer your questions. So actually down in the description box below, we've actually linked several different social media channels which you can follow us on. You can follow us for more updates on, and also if you've got any inquiries, feel free, to drop us any of these inquiries in our social media channels. With that, I would like to thank you guys so much once again for tuning in on a Saturday morning. You guys can go back to sleep now or enjoy your Saturday lunch. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys here in NBS. See you!